All right, mic check, mic check, mic check. It's 2:58 p.m. July 21st, 2025. It's 3-minute radio lunch and learn. Today we're going to learn about lightning. I'll turn the music down here in a moment. We're doing some social media stuff. Got to get things on the YouTube and the TikTok. Starting this week, Monday. Fun day. It's 3 o'clock, 2:59 p.m. Eastern time, but lunchtime for a lot of folks. So lunch and learn. We're going to learn about lightning. We're going to bust this out in 20-30 minutes. Short episode. I made a short of our intro, so I'm just checking that out real quick. No view. We have a view now. So I have to connect the 3-minute radio YouTube account and start actually posting and then doing the shorts there. Always is my goal. We have goals here. I hope you have goals. We're going to bring the music down a little bit. It is 3 p.m. July 21st. 3-minute radio. Lunch and learn. Welcome. What do we have in store? Well, we have Ray's signal with a couple of comments. So welcome to Lunch and Learn with Ray. Today's topic is lightning. Don't worry, we've also got your lunch lineup right after the shocks. Lightning 101 with Ray. What is lightning? It's a giant electrostatic discharge between the sky and the ground, or cloud to cloud. Think of it as nature's massive spark plug balancing electric charges. How hot is it? It's hotter than the surface of the sun. Lightning can reach 30,000 degrees Celsius or 54,000 degrees Fahrenheit. That's hot enough to fuse sand into glass. How fast is it? The flash is instant, but the bolt itself travels at about 220 million miles per hour. It's roughly 1/3 the speed of light. So it's not the speed of light. It's not just light, it's lightning. Can it strike the same place twice? Yes, the Empire State Building gets struck 20 times a year. Or 25 times a year on average. If you're lightning, you play favorites. What about thunder? That's lightning sonic boom. The bolt superheats air, causing rapid expansion and a shock wave we hear as thunder. Weird lightning facts, right? There's ball lightning, floating glowing orbs that drift eerily indoors, still a mystery. Lightning happens in volcanic eruptions, forest fires, and even snowstorms. Saturn and Jupiter have lightning storms 10 times more intense than Earth's. Space zap. So we have pulled up here some links. We have Severe Weather 101 about lightning basics. What is lightning? What causes thunder? Where does lightning strike? What causes lightning? I have a 404 page here and another, and then National Geographic, education.nationalgeographic.org. Take note of the domain name there, education.nationalgeographic.org. Lightning, full section on lightning. Lightning Science Snap from the National Weather Service. weather.gov, safety and lightning science. And of course, we have our amazing background here with our royalty-free techno trance today. So we're going to do a Brangle, though. That's what we start off our lunch and learns with, is a brain teaser or a riddle. We might try one or two depending on how long they are. I'm going to go to riddles. Let's go to, actually, I'm going to go to the science section. Joe Thunder, very appropriate for today's show. So we are in Brangle.com. We're doing the Joe Thunder science brain teaser or riddle. 3:04 p.m. Good intro. Everybody welcome in on this glorious Monday, July 21st. As his name would suggest, Joe was not a meek, quiet fellow. In fact, he had difficulty keeping quiet. Both his local and university library banned him. Dang, Joe. His roommate, being a music major and a sound engineer, said he could solve his problem, but Joe would need to trust him. He gave Joe his 75-watt ghetto blaster, a CD, fake mustache, and a long blonde wig. Joe, who is skeptical but intrigued, decided to give it a shot. Joe, disguised as one of the professors, entered the university library. He placed the CD player on the table in front of him, loaded the CD, cranked the volume full, and braced himself as he turned it on. Surprisingly, there was only a very, very faint shh. Joe then realized that he couldn't hear anything at all. He spoke normally and then yelled, but no one reacted. Awesome, he thought as he began flailing his arms around and shouting as loud as he could. Unfortunately, the librarian, seeing him moving but hearing nothing, assumed he was choking and performed the Heimlich maneuver on him, knocking his wig off, causing the librarian to perform the hind kick maneuver right out of the door. Poor Joe. But what had his roommate done? What was on that mysterious CD that made everything quiet? Whoa, this is intense. And it's called Joe Thunder. Was it just thunderstorm sounds from outside? So everyone thought it was storming out? And everyone ignored it? That's my guess. We're going to show hint. Think sound and what people can and can't hear. Ooh. So I don't know if it's thunder. And if Joe is screaming, but no one heard him. But Joe couldn't hear anything at all. Joe then realized he couldn't hear anything at all. He spoke normally and then yelled. No one reacted. Let's see what the answer is here. Most airline pilots could tell you Joe's roommate used the same technology that airline and fighter pilots have in their noise-canceling headsets. Okay, it works like this. The CD had a low-frequency sound below the 20 hertz, which humans can't hear, recorded on it. As long as the volume of the low frequency is louder than your voice or other noise, you hear almost nothing for the low sounds, which humans can't hear, and drown out other sounds. I heard that when this was first discovered that libraries actually use this concept to create quiet until they realized that even though humans couldn't hear the low sound, if loud enough, it would still damage the ears. Whoa! Mind-boggling. Yeah, I thought it might have to do with thunder and lightning. All right, so we're on the NSSL NOAA.gov website. They have a video on Severe Weather 101. Lightning is a giant spark of electricity in the atmosphere between the clouds, the air, or the ground. In the early stages of development, air acts as an insulator between the positive and negative charges in the cloud and between the cloud and the ground. When the opposite charges build up enough, this insulating capacity of the air breaks down and there's a rapid discharge of electricity that we know as lightning. The flash of lightning temporarily equalizes the charged regions in the atmosphere until the opposite charges build up again. Lightning can occur between opposite charges when the thunderstorm cloud, intercloud lightning, or between opposite charges in the cloud and on the ground, which is cloud to ground lightning. Lightning is one of the oldest observed natural phenomena on Earth. It can be seen in volcanic eruptions, extremely intense forest fires, surface nuclear detonations, heavy snowstorms, large hurricanes, and obviously thunderstorms. So lightning causes thunder. What causes thunder? Lightning does. Energy from a lightning channel heats the air briefly to around 50,000 degrees, much hotter than the surface of the sun. This causes the air to explode outward. The huge pressure in the initial outward shock wave decreases rapidly with increasing distance, with 10 yards or so has become small enough to be perceived as the sound we call thunder. Oh, so it only disperses about 10 yards. But thunder can be heard up to 25 miles away from the lightning discharge. But the frequency of the sound changes with distance from the lightning channels that produce it, because higher frequencies are more quickly absorbed by the air. Very close to the lightning, the first thunder you hear is from the closest channels, which produce a tearing sound because that thunder contains high frequencies. A few seconds later, you hear a sharp click or loud crack from the lightning channels a little farther away, and several tens of seconds later, the thunder from the most distant part of a flash has quieted to a lower frequency rumbling. So how it just kind of like rumbles on and just, Because light travels through the air roughly 1,000,000 times faster than sound does, you can use thunder to estimate the distance to lightning. I remember doing this as a child. Sound travels approximately 1/5 of a mile per second. Sound travels approximately 1/5 of a mile a second, or 1/3 of a kilometer per second. So dividing the number of seconds by 5 gives the number of miles to the flash. Dividing by 3 gives the number of kilometers. So dividing the number of seconds by 5 gives the number of miles, how far away that lightning was. Where does lightning strike? Most, if not all, lightning flashes produced by storms start inside the cloud. If a lightning flash is going to strike ground, a channel develops downward towards the surface. When it gets less than roughly 100 yards off the ground, objects like trees and bushes and buildings start sending up sparks to meet it. One of those sparks connects the downward developing channel. A huge electric current surges rapidly down the channel to the object that produced the spark. Tall objects such as trees and skyscrapers are more likely than the surrounding ground to produce one of the connecting sparks, and so are more likely to be struck. Mountains also make good targets, obviously. However, this does not always mean tall objects will be struck. Lightning can strike the ground in an open field, even if the tree line is close by. We're gonna jump over to National Geographic site. So a lot of the same information here as well. So lightning safety. All thunderstorms and lightning storms are dangerous. Lightning is very, very hot, hotter than the surface of the sun. Again, it can reach 50,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Lightning is more likely to strike objects that stick up off the ground, including people. In the US, lightning kills an average of 58 people each year. That's more deaths than are caused by tornadoes and hurricanes. Wow, actually very interesting. Not good wow, but bad wow. If you hear thunder or see lightning, you may be in danger. If you hear thunder, the storm is nearby. Go inside a safe place. Stay away from open areas like fields, tall objects like trees or telephone poles. Stay away from anything metal. So the reason I looked this one up is because in my area we've been having a lot of lightning storms lately, and I actually thought I was safer staying underneath some trees and some cover and other tall objects, anything over me other than just open field areas. I was taking a quick walk, but stay away from anything metal too, like chain link fences, bikes, metal shelters. Since water is a great conductor of electricity, you should get out of a pool if you're swimming, and stay away from puddles and any other water. If you're in an area where there is no shelter, crouch low to the ground, but don't lay flat. If you're in a group, stand at least 5 meters or 15 feet apart from anyone else. Fast, fat grease lightning is a description for something that is very fast and powerful. But even the slipperiest substances like grease can't be applied to real lightning. Oh, of course. Imperial lightning. Lightning strikes the iconic American Empire State Building in New York City about 100 times every year. Fast fact, make your own lightning. The same process that creates lightning is possible to experience at home. Rub your feet on carpet, then touch a metal doorknob. If you feel a shock, that's static electricity. Static electricity occurs when an object has too many electrons, giving it a negative charge. So we are on the weather.gov safety/lightning-science domain name URL. They as well go over lightning science, reiterating upon basically everything that we just said. They have a chart cloud to ground lightning flashes by state from 2009 to 2018. There's the Dr. Lightning Show. I don't know what that is, but on Science Channel on the weather.gov website. So very interesting stuff. Everybody stay safe out there. This is a quick lunch and learn. Let's find out what's for lunch. 3-minute radio lunch and learn, July 21st, 2025. Let's not forget our earthly needs. So today for lunch, we're having grilled cheddar and apple butter sandwich on sourdough, arugula salad with lemon vinaigrette, mandarin slices. It's a nice little, it's an interesting mix here. Drink iced espresso tonic for the thunder inside you. Not for lunch is microwave burritos from 3 weeks ago. Even lightning won't bring them back to life. Ray's lightning quote of the day is, electricity is just organized lightning. By George Carlin quote. That is kind of great. Yeah, electricity is really just organized lightning. Stay charged, stay smart, and pass the arugula right out. We'll leave you off with a little bit of trance and our awesome lightning inspired background here. It is Monday. Happy Monday. This is a quick lunch and learn. We are working on our YouTube, TikTok shorts and other videos. This is 3-minute radio. We do the morning squirrel and obviously in the morning. We do afternoon delight lunch and learn. Sometimes we do afternoon tonight. We do afternoon, maybe midnight, and then other backstage shows and content as well. So hopefully you learned something today. Happy Monday, July 21st, 2025. We are out. Thank you. Have a great day. Rest your day. Don't eat leftover burritos from 3 weeks ago.